Thank you, Boston. Thank you, Massachusetts. Thank you, Boston Study Group. And I have no words to thank all the gracious ladies and gentlemen here, and their particularly the younger ones. I thank all the parents who brought the young kids to this function. I'm really, really grateful to you. Good evening, the ladies and gentlemen, and all the friends from Boston Study Group. I greet you all on the occasion of 75th Independence Day of our country. I'm really happy and very lucky to be here in your midst on this great occasion. And I Jai Bhim to you. Jai Bhim. Jai Bharat. Thank you. Thank you. Friends, we are confabulating and talking to each other and sharing all our ideas and sharing all our aspirations for our great nation in India. Great nation, India. And we are celebrating this in another great nation. And that too in a great place called Boston, the epicenter for American Revolution. This is very, very important moment in my personal life and also in the history of this great country. Just 2 miles away from this place, there is another small town called Concord, and that Concord, 250 years ago, two shots were fired. 10 years ago, I was taken to that place by my program managers, the program director, and then we were shown a piece of rock on which it was inscribed that this is the place from where those two shots were fired. So, and then those two shots were fired to free this nation from the yoke of imperial masters who knew only to plunder the riches made by those people who lived in this colony called America. So from those two shots, from then on, then the revolution spiraled and it snowballed into a huge movement, and then the colonialists, the imperialists had to run away and then leave this country free. So in the same place, again you had another revolution, the literary revolution. Ralph Waldo Emerson and many more great poets, philosophers. That revolution gave birth to these great people and whose thoughts continue to inspire not just Americans, but all the well-meaning people in this world. They are part of our evolution as great human beings, a great nation. The very idea of civil disobedience, which the great father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, had used to free our nation from the same British Empire. So the idea of civil disobedience, it had birth in the same place, Concord, thanks to David Henry Thoreau, so the famous philosopher. And this nation, this great nation, has given so many ideas to the world, and today we are here celebrating 75th year of independence. Thank you so much for Venkat and Raidas and then Hemantji, Sanjayji, everybody for inviting me to this place. In fact, I am really, really busy in our motherland. So ever since I joined politics, so I have been on the roads, I have been moving people, I've traveled for about 17,000 kilometers, visited about 778 villages, and spoke to about 700,000 people directly. And then I'm in the midst of a yatra, but the Boston Study Group thought that I must come here, and then I must be the reference point for all the well-meaning people, not just from Telugu states, from all the states who want a different India, who want an inclusive India, who want an educated India, who want a corruption-free India. So all those people must come together, no matter whether it is Boston, whether it is New Jersey, whether it is Atlanta, whether it is San Francisco, whether it is Dallas, or any other place. So all of us must come together and must share all our ideas, aspirations, which have been cleverly buried underneath underneath many layers of corruption and so on and so forth. So I'll come to that point little later. So thank you very much, Boston Study Group, for inviting me to this great evening. So I have some of the friends whom I have known for the last decade or so, and this town presents a very the very place brings a lot of memories. I've been to Lexington, I've been to Burlington, I've been to Westford. Our friends from Westford are here. Then I've been to Somerville. Then Cambridge, of course, was the alma mater in which I had learned the you know the new perspectives in public administration. More than anything else, as Venkat rightly ended his piece with the Rabbi Hillel of first century, wherein he said, "If I'm only for myself, what am I?" I repeat, if I'm only for myself, what am I? If I am not for myself, who will be? If I'm only for myself, what am I? If I am not for myself, who will be? If not me, who? If not now, when? These are the four things one of our professors, Marshall Ganj, introduced us to this great world of introspection, reflection. So this is the place where I have learned a lot of new ideas. And then I graduated on 29th May 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to waste even a single day. I just flew to motherland, wherein many of my friends, joined international organizations. They started NGOs in the US. They joined NGOs in the US. They joined international institutions. But I thought, no, having learned so much, having seen so many different ideas from different countries. My class had about 80 people from 90 people from 80 different nations. And we all stayed together for 1 year to complete our master's degree. Then I thought, having met so many great people who came from different parts of the world, different continents, I thought, this knowledge, I must use it for my motherland. So that's why I just, flew back to my motherland and then landed there. So, so as I said, I'm in the midst of yatra. So I joined politics after I went there, and then I continued within the space that is given by the government, which is within the space that is provided by the government, which is the space that provided by the Indian Constitution, written by the great Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So I wanted to use all my knowledge for the people. So that's how I had served in police department for 17 years as superintendent of police or head of the district, then deputy commissioner, joint commissioner, inspector general, but still I was not satisfied. So I was absolutely not satisfied. There was something which was nagging always, that I must do more. The way things are happening in this country are not really, are not in proper direction, are not the things that were supposed to be. So that's why I thought I should take a break from my regular policing, and then I went to our chief minister and then requested him to, give me an opportunity to explore the real area, that is education, real area of human development, that is education. And that's how I landed in welfare residential schools. And then probably 1 million people have passed out from the schools ever since I joined those institutions. And then that was a great journey. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that today because that is not the subject matter here. So thanks, Dolly, for sharing some glimpses of my work in education sector in this country. But ladies and gentlemen, I met some of the friends who fought for Telangana, and then Venkat is one among them. And Raidas Mantena has just shared his aspirations for Telangana, and then how Telangana is, taken into a tangential, different direction. So after 9 years of my service, I joined a political party. When I started journey, so a lot of things really chilling things, because 1,300 people have sacrificed. Like as we talk here today, thousands of people sacrifice their lives to make America free. Similarly, from 1969 till 2014, 1,300 people from different communities, from different universities, from different walks of life have sacrificed their lives. 2014, Telangana emerged as the youngest state, the 29th state of India. Now it is 28 after Jammu and Kashmir lost its state status. So 2014, we all celebrated. We all celebrated independence of or emergence of a formation of a new state. But today, our chief minister lives in a citadel which is built at the cost of 170 crores. I'm sorry for all those people who are not able to, convert Indian currency into dollars. I'm very poor at converting them, but anyway. So 170 crores. 20 million? Okay, thanks. 20 million US dollars. Okay. Anyway, so 170 crores. I have nothing against Chief Minister. He's a very nice gentleman, but that's not the issue here. The issue is governance. Telangana had only 60,000 crores as the debt when it got separated from Andhra Pradesh in 2014. But today, Telangana has accumulated the debt of 5.4 lakh crores. Not one, not two, not three, 5.4 lakh crores. Our chief minister had only 50 acres of agricultural land in the form of a farmhouse in 2014. Today, he has a farmhouse whose extent is 300 acres. He gets salary of 4.25 lakhs per month. That is the highest paid chief minister in this country is Telangana chief minister. 4.25 lakhs is the salary of our chief minister. He has built a palace in his farmhouse whose extent is 300 acres, I have already told you. The cost of the palace is 70 crores. And chief minister, in a year, 365 days, he stays in the farmhouse for 142 days. This is the average stay. And the money, because chief minister stays in a bungalow, official bungalow, 170 crores, to go from official bungalow to the farmhouse, because he has to commit 142 days on and off, on and off. You know how much money it has costed the state exchequer? 79 crores. In a year, to go from the official residence to private residence and then back and forth, 79 crores he had spent. This is not the case of only Chief Minister of Telangana. This is the case of many Chief Ministers in this country. Since I am from Telangana, I am talking about because we have a personal urge. We have been agitating against this gross misuse of public money. Dr. Venkat Maraju has been mentioning about the investment in education, the position of education. India, despite being the largest democracy, even in spite of being the largest democracy in this world, is still at 131 position. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not because we don't have money. It's not because we don't have money. Because the money is going into wrong places. That's why the human development is stuck. Today morning, I was going through the papers. 3 children got injured because the ceiling of the school fell on their head. 9 got injured, of them 3 got seriously injured. The money should have gone to the schools. but money went to the bungalows. Money should have gone to the hospitals, but money went to the parties. Our chief minister threw a party in a village, a lunch with 26 items. Probably we have only 3 course meal or 2 course meal, but it was a multi-course meal, and it costed 3 crores. A lunch costed 3 crores. Are we living in a monarchy? Are we living in a, the vintage times? Are we living in a democracy? The money that should have been gone to the hospitals, the money that have been gone to hospitals, it has gone to somewhere else. A police command and control center, which was built at the cost of 1,200 crores. That's what Mr. Raidas has been mentioning about. The money should have been gone to the hospitals, has gone to police command and control center only to control the civilians. What Venkat Maruji is doing today in Boston. So monitor his mobile phone, send Pegasus software, then hack his mobile phone, then watch all his activities. The money should have that money should have gone to hospital. The tragedy is 6 months ago, in a place called Warangal, in a city called Warangal, which is the second largest city in Telangana, a patient gets admitted and doesn't get beds. The nurses there, healthcare professionals, they made him sleep in a veranda on a normal cot. At 4 a.m., a band of bandicoots, they come and then they bite him and he loses blood. Nobody, then suddenly they realize that this guy is bleeding. Then they mop up the entire floor because they wanted to, and the patient was unconscious. At 6 a.m., again another band of bandicoots, they come and then they bite him and then he dies of excessive bleeding. A hospital where patients come to save their lives, and the same hospital, patients lose their lives. This is the tragedy. In labor ward, where women are supposed to give birth to the young children, the snakes loiter. What is happening? So it is not just the case of Telangana, it is the case of most of the states in India where chief ministers are the people who are supposed to be elected and supposed to be serving people. They are enjoying the cozy comforts of the bungalows, the palaces, the citadels, so on and so forth. This is a fact in India. So this has to be challenged. Our chief minister, he has not stepped into a single college or university ever since he has taken oath of office. Not even a single college. There are 6.17 million students studying in the educational institutions. I'm not talking about higher education, but lower education. Higher education, if you had another, 500,000 or 600,000. Not even a single university has visited so far. I can easily understand the anguish of Manoj Mishra. You were just talking about, why rulers are scared of educating the masses. He has not sent, there is one university called Rajiv Gandhi University out in Indian Institute of Information Technology. So that is Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge and Technology, Knowledge Sciences and Technology. There are 9,000 students and there are supposed to be 161 professors. You know how many professors are there? Only 19. How will 9,000 best brains of Telangana will get education when there are only 19 regular lecturers? Then how will they get them? And 9,000 students, and then there are only physical education teachers, only 2. And these children have been requesting the chief minister, please come to our college and see the horrendous conditions in which we are living by yourself. But they don't have any heart to come. So what I'm trying to say, the chief minister, when he gets sick, he goes to the best corporate private hospital. Best hospital. And themselves treated, and then get become better. So this is the condition. This is the sacrifice. This is Telangana. The state came out of sacrifice of 1300 martyrs, and then today it went into wrong hands. So this politics, this brand of politics have to be changed. It's not just Telangana. Even the central government, Bharatiya Janata Party, which is ruling in the center, it is privatizing. It is privatizing all well-doing, the profit-making public sector undertakings, left, right, and center, and these things, these institutions, these great institutions, are being served on platter to a few rich, ultra-rich businessmen at throwaway prices. Whose treasure was that? Whose treasure is that? Who made these public sector undertakings great? And then why is that these public sector undertakings are being divested without public consent, and then they're being given to the ultra-rich people? Then what happens to Indian Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, yes, okay, we have given Indian Constitution to Indian people, but if the rulers are not good, then the Indian Constitution is of no use. Today, the rulers have a different agenda. An agenda which will serve only those people who are ultra-rich. Today, no channel is able to air the news freely, because all these channels are owned by the ultra-rich people. In Telangana, 6 to 7 important channels are owned by the rich people who are very close to Chief Minister. So any news which goes against government will never be beamed. And so is the case with Government of India. You ask under Right to Information Act all the questions, and then you don't get the answers. You don't get the answers. Then you go to villages. I've traveled about 700, I visited about 770 villages. Everywhere, even today, after 75 years of independence, you have, every village, you have at least 20 to 30% of the population, they still are asking for a home. Sir, please give us a good home. And people are asking for, give us jobs. Then you have graduates, you have postgraduates working as construction workers or working as coolies. We are underemployed. In Telangana itself, we have about 3.5 million people waiting to be employed, and government has no plan at all. So think what's happening. In whose hands have we placed our trust? In whose hands have we placed our state, our future of our children? In the last 6 months, in 75 incidents, students, in India you have midday meal scheme, in India you have residential schools. The students, they had food poisoning incidents, and in 75 schools, students were admitted in hospitals. In Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Information Technology, 1,200 students were admitted in hospitals in one night because there was food poisoning. But rulers are not bothered at all. Chief Minister is not bothered. His Council of Ministers are not bothered. So what am I trying to tell you? Our motherland is not going in right direction. That's why I come here to tell you, we all have to think, whether, no matter you live in America, you live in Europe, you live in any other continent, but we must give a thought to where our motherland is heading to. We must all think about why we are not able to, in spite of the fact that we have 1.3 billion people, and then of them, majority of them young people, we have probably the world's resource. And we have great budgets, like, in Telangana alone, we have 2.5 lakh crores is the budget, and still we are not able to make progress. And in one of the incidents, I went to a village. This is how the wrong priorities are happening. I went to a village. So at 8 p.m., a 9th grader got drunk. It was minister's village. 9th grader was a fully intoxicated condition. I asked his mother, ma'am, why is that your son is drunk? Didn't you monitor the activities of this child? He said, sir, I have no option, because in every lane and by lane there are kiosks which sell liquor. And liquor sometimes is more cheaper than the bottled drinking water in India. This is a fact. And the government has earned 35,000 crores. 35,000 crores last year, while we all were suffering from COVID-19 pandemic. 35,000 crores they have earned by selling cheap liquor. And who are the victims? Poorest of the poor. Then I went to hospital and I asked the superintendent of the hospital, the chief of government hospital, tell me one solution which can make these people healthy. Tell me one solution which can prevent these people coming to hospitals. He said, stop liquor. Regulate liquor. Regulate these belt shops, the kiosks. I went to a village called Ninth Mile Tanda. So in that, I met 33 women who are, working as agricultural laborers in an agriculture field. Of them, 11 were not having Mangal Sutra. So that the holy thread they wear after marriage. Then I asked them, why is that you don't have Mangal Sutra and that bindi on your forehead? They said, we lost our husbands. Then I asked them, how did you lose your husbands? Because all of them got drunk and then they have got so addicted to drinking and then we lost them. They're very young age people, they lose their lives. And no ruler is thinking on this direction as to why people or young people after marriage or before marriage, they are dying, either because of accidents or because of cirrhosis, which you get because of excessive drinking and so on and so forth. Because our rulers do not want, as Manoj, I'll come back to Manoj again, the ruler who wants to control the resources will never want the populations to get educated. They don't want to invest in education. They don't want invest in health. They don't want to invest in self-employment. Then where do they want to invest? They want to invest in winning the elections. As we speak here, I have been getting calls to come back, cancel my trip and come back. So they asked, why is that there is hurry? And then why is that you are after me to come back? So then they said, there is by-election. I said, no. How come there is a by-election? Election comes only after 5 years. So you get elected and then you have to serve people for 5 years. Then your term is out. Then you go for elections. Then one legislator, he resigned to his position as legislator. And once he resigns, now you have to find another, you have to go for election to elect someone else. Then we looked at the data. Then why is that this guy is resigning to elections? Because he got a contract in Chhattisgarh. 20,000 crores coal block he got contract. So now the party that is ruling the government of India, so these people wanted to make a foray in Telangana. So that's why they said, no, okay, resign. Now let us prove our point, then let us test the waters of Telangana. That's why resign. You know how much money is being spent on one small election? 1,000 crores. How does this money come? Where does this money come from? Ill-gotten money. Then how these 1,000 crores will be spent? Buy liquor, buy saris, buy mutton, buy chicken, partying for 6 months, free. So people get used to this partying recklessly. Then one fine morning there will be voting. Then whoever gives more money, whoever can manage, whomever can intoxicate people in a better manner. So they go and then they press the button and then they win the elections. And then after that, they don't come back to villages at all. This is the status of Indian democracy. We are celebrating today Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. That is 75th year of Indian independence. As we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in a place called Jalore in Rajasthan, a 9-year-old kid is beaten to death by his teacher for touching the pot of drinking water, a drinking water pot, because this boy belonged to a scheduled caste community and he goes and touches the pot of teacher and then drinks water because he was feeling thirsty, and teacher couldn't bear this unsacred act. So then he beat that boy to death, and this is the Azadi. This is the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and then we are celebrating. On the other hand, teacher is beating the boy, and then that boy lost his life. So this is where we are, my dear friends. So that is the reason why India needs an alternative politics. Parties, you need to have an alternative thinking, an alternative politics, and then we need to stop the flow of money to buy the votes. I'll come back. I'm done. So we need to stop the flow of money into these reckless flow of money into the elections, and then we need to rescue Indian democracy, and then we need to introduce a new value systems into politics, and that's why I am here. And then I thank Boston Study Group for making this happen. And then I know it really calls for a lot of hard work, and then you may have applied for leave from your jobs. I know how difficult it is to get a vacation in a country called the US. So I really, really thank you from bottom of my heart for making this happen. And then I thank you all for taking time that too on a Friday evening. I know how valuable it is today. So, but I thank you, and then I thank Boston Study Group for organizing all these tours, not just in Boston, all the cities in this country. And with these few words, I also thank you for being here, and then I request you to offer your suggestions. Please guide us as to how to build this, save Indian democracy. And then in order to save the lives of poor people and save the lives of, the people who are going to land in the country, the future generations, that is very, very important. We can't be celebrating the sporadic successes. We need to create a huge pathway for all the people, irrespective of their caste and creed and then geographical positions. They must have a royal entry into a glorious future. That's very, very important. It's not because of somebody's pedigree is good, or somebody is related to somebody, or somebody has a lot of money, that's why he's doing well, or somebody is lucky enough to come to the US. No. So everybody should have equal opportunity. That's what Constitution said, which is in danger. In fact, current BJP government, current government in Telangana, they want to wipe out Indian Constitution, and they want to replace it with a retrogressive constitution, a constitution which is based on retrogressive values. I don't know what kind of constitution they're going to make, but friends, if we don't think together, if we don't think about motherland, and if you don't give your ideas, I think our democracy will be in perpetual danger. And with these few words, so I thank you once again for your undivided attention, and then thank you Boston Study Group for for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. You want me to?
Yeah, we have a Q&A session. It could be a question or a comment, but make it very brief.
I'm so sorry. It's a global NRI forum. I forgot. So,
Yes,
it's a new entity. So thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
he is going to.
I request you to give a huge round of applause for global NRI forum. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, this event organized by both Boston Study Group in collaboration with Global NRIs Forum, and there are 10 events in 10 major cities. It starts, Boston is the kickoff, then it'll go through New York, New Jersey, Washington, DC, Atlanta, and Detroit, and Chicago, Dallas, and Bay Area. So we call this as a roadshow. When you have a startup company, you go for roadshow, then you go public. That's exactly, we follow that model. Is a startup company with a beautiful idea to make India better. So please share the flyers and any evites with your friends and families. So we are going to take some questions. Make it brief, concise, no rebuttal, please.
And question should end with question mark.
Yes. Why, what, where, and when, okay? So that's the agreement. And you can make a comment or comment. So,
Sir, yes.
See, if we want to take on a big, big party or big individual, we need to be equally big. Someone who has to be big. I see so many intelligent people contesting election. They are individually very honest people, but they are not able to win the election. They are not able to contest election. Why not people come together, like-minded people, bring them together to take on these corrupt politicians. And another thing is, I always believe that we simply, there is no point in blaming the politicians because people have to be enlightened. As long as people keep electing those people,
Thank you.
we will be like this. Why not somebody? I don't mind, if some financial support is required for this effort, someone like me definitely will come forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The question is, why can't like-minded people come together to go for better politics?
No, no, I have an answer for that. Thank you very much for asking this question, sir. So, it's observation and then question. Yes, we can't leave it to one or two people so who are enlightened or who found their calling, and then sometimes you find them very rarely. And then we are living in a society where every home wants Bhagat Singh to be born in next home. Every every home, most of the places, every home wants Shahid Bhagat Singh to be born in the next door, but not in their homes. So my not seen how freedom movement has evolved, but I had seen with my own eyes how Telangana movement got evolved. Yes, a movement for separate Telangana. Like a guy like Venkat, standing in the city, staying in Boston. I met his friends from his university, and then he made 3, 4 subgroups, and then they started Telangana Development Forum, or they got a movement for separate Telangana across Atlantic. So most of these movements, they build up a very strong sentiments. These sentiments are made only when everybody talks about the cause. So not just one or two, not just Praveen Kumar, not just Venkat, not just Rohidas, not just Sanjay, but everybody, when they talk about this and everybody talks about the need, then the politicians also, they get scared, sir. Every channel should be able to beam this. And then if channels are not, because now today we are not in a position to show all these great things in the channels because the state controls all the channels, because the information and broadcast. So in that case, you have only social media. You have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have WhatsApp. So you have to, in your own way, or you have websites. You can start your blogs, and you have to start your websites, and then spread the information to punish those politicians who misuse public money. Then promote those people who, your endorsement can be a great use, like influencers. Once you say something, because you are a well educated person, in villages, in Indian villages, people go to RMP doctors, registered medical practitioners, who are not the medical professionals who have gone to the proper medical colleges. They go to teachers, they go to retired teachers, they go to postmen, the postmasters. These are the influencers, and they go to well educated people. If people like you, if you endorse a good politician, so if you, whom you think good, whom you think honest, I think that makes a hell of a lot of difference. But not just one, not just two. We have to really make it as a movement. So for that, you need to have a multi-pronged strategy. So not one person's voice is not enough. So I hope I have answered your question. So, and I thank you very much for offering to help. Thank you very much.
Next question.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Sankir. I live in Boston. As you said, you've been meeting people, right? So talking here with people like this is different from when you actually
Yes.
go into the ground. So have you come up with this one thing that people are actually looking for? And do you think if you can bring that up into people, they would actually think and vote rather than vote for other things that the other candidates are giving? Is there this one single point thing that you think that, oh, if we can focus on this thing, maybe we can convert that into votes?
People want jobs.
Okay, but that's been a generic way of all politicians saying it, right, sir? So is
No,
there?
but everybody says, but nobody has delivered. They want jobs. Like, this is what I have understood. Like, I've had a personal experience of all of them. They are not looking into whether chief minister is. You know, the reason why politicians invest less in education is to keep people always in darkness. People, like none of that, you'll be surprised. Most of the places, people have not asked me about the quality of education. Nobody asked, why is that our children do not have a teacher? Why is that our school building is rickety? Why is it our school building is about to fall? Then I got really surprised, and then I came back and then talked to many people. Why is it these people are not asking about schools? Why is that they are not asking about their children's scores in mathematics or children's scores in English or so on? And why is that there is no textbooks for the children? Even today, only 70% of the schools got textbooks, and some of the schools do not have notebooks. Then how do they write? And then nobody asked about this. Everybody is asking, sir, please give us jobs or give us pension at the first day of every month. So these are the smaller things. The people do not know what to ask. Why? Because they were not educated. They have not seen a better world. They have either through education. You have to see a better world either through education, or somebody has to take you to that world and then show it. So people do not know what to ask. In Telangana, 4 crores, only 2 crores are literate. So they're just simply asking for jobs, because so that they can get sustainable employment. Otherwise, they have no means for a better livelihood.
Thank you.
Next question. Please introduce yourself.
Sir, this is Vijay.
Yes, Vijay.
I have 2 questions actually.
Yes, sir.
I'll speak in Telugu so that. So 75 ఏళ్ల స్వతంత్ర భారతదేశం సాధించిన అతిపెద్ద విజయం ఏమిటి, అతిపెద్ద ఫెయిల్యూర్ ఏంటి మీ దృష్టిలో? దట్స్ ద ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్.
75 ఏళ్ల భారతదేశం సాధించిన
అతిపెద్ద విజయం ఏమిటి, అతిపెద్ద ఫెయిల్యూర్ ఏంటి ఈ 75 ఇయర్స్లో మీ దృష్టిలో? ఏది గ్రేటెస్ట్, ఏది బాగా సక్సెస్, ఏది బాగా ఫెయిల్యూర్? సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే, డాక్టర్ జయప్రకాష్ నారాయణ గారు, జేడి లక్ష్మీనారాయణ గారు, ఆకునూరి మురళి గారు, మీరు సిస్టంలో ఉండి ఎంతో చేయాలనుకున్నారు. కానీ సిస్టంలో ఉన్న లోటుపాట్లు కానీ, ప్రెషర్ వల్ల కానీ, రాజకీయ అడ్డంకుల వల్ల కానీ మీలాంటి మంచి ఆఫీసర్లు 4 రిజైన్ చేసి బయటికి రావాల్సి వచ్చింది. ఇలాంటి సిస్టమ్ ఇంకా ఎన్నేళ్ళకు బాగుపడుతుంది? 75 ఇయర్స్ అయిపోయింది, ఇంకొక 750 ఇయర్స్ ఆగాల, ఇంకో 75 ఇయర్స్ ఆగాల. మీలాంటి మంచి ఆఫీసర్లు సిస్టంలో ఉండి ఎలాంటి రాజకీయ పొలిటికల్ ప్రెషర్ లేకుండా మీరు మనసులో అనుకున్న సాధించాలంటే, సిస్టంలో ఉండి చేయాలంటే ఇంకెంత టైం పడుతుంది?
Yeah, Praveen, if you don't mind, I
Yeah.
think there are many people who don't understand English, so Telugu. So let's try to keep it in English, but I can translate his question,
please
right?
translate.
Yeah, so basically he's asking in 75 years, what our country has achieved the best and what we haven't achieved in 75 years. That was his first question. And the second question is, we have, I don't know how many of you know Jayaprakash Narayan, who started Lok Satta movement, and then he started a political party. So he was considered a great officer, but he, really didn't succeed in politics. Similarly, there was another fine IPS officer called J.D. Lakshminarayana. After retirement, he started trying to enter politics, but he also didn't make. So his question was, why these, considered great officers are not really succeeding in politics, and is this the right time to enter politics or not? So that was his question. Yeah,
Thanks
please.
for translating this question. The biggest achievement, since independence is we stayed together as a nation. We stayed together as one nation, although we have 2 different cultures, like too many cultures and then subcultures and then languages, whatnot, ways of life, but still we stayed together as a nation thanks to Indian Constitution, and it's working to some extent. The biggest failure, as I say, we lost on education, we lost on human development, and then whatnot. So once you lost focus on education, human development, then when human development includes education, health, and so on and so forth, we have not been able to make a great progress. So in compared to other countries of the same, standing. So then second question, yes, as a bureaucrat, you may have been a celebrity and then you may have done a lot of great things, but as a politician, it's a different ball game. You have to, bureaucracy, you have a system right at your disposal to deliver. So if you have a good equation with the politicians, and if you have good space, or if you can manage better, then you can deliver. So, but politics is not like that. So you need to be with the people. You may be a very good intellectual and you may analyze things better, but people don't understand that. So you need to be with the people, you need to fight for the people, you need to sacrifice all your comforts, and you should be ready to go to jail. So then only you will be a successful politician, at least in India. So otherwise, I have a lot of respect for all the politicians that you have just mentioned. So, but they need to be with the people. So, and then they should not lose nerve. One defeat cannot, dampen your spirits. One defeat is politics. You get elected, defeated. So, peaks and valleys are in public life, and we should be ready. It's not going to be a short journey. So, thank you very much for asking this question. Thank you.
Next question.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Sujata.
So we are all aware of your work in education areas for marginalized communities and living in poverty. The issue that you mentioned was unemployment, which we all know is in India these days. We are reading news every day. We see. We watch a lot of podcasts, which kind of reiterates this problem. But my question here is, you have mentioned this issue and you have done so much of work in education area. So your immediate actions for unemployment, what are your plans, if at all they are in the future for you after you go from here, or any plans that you have already been working on for unemployment? We would all like to know about those.
Make people employable. So one single sentence, make the education meaningful, and then make it reflect the job requirements. And it's not that there are no opportunities. Economy, oftentimes it gets overheated, and then when you say economy is overheating, so you need more and more skilled youth, and then that skilling youth, like 83% of Indian engineering professionals are not employable. So the problem here is, this is not my study. This is a study by all consulting companies in the country. So 83% of Indian engineering graduates are not getting employment because they are not employable. So what we need to be urgently investing on, is skilling of the people from different levels, and then understand the job market, and then link the job market with the education sector. So the people in the villages, they don't want to come to cities, although they want to work, because there are no facilities. So they don't know where to stay in cities. So just you build 10 to 15 hostels for all these young professionals, and then they can stay in cities where there are a lot of requirements. So you have to invest heavily onto skilling. So skilling is very, very important. And then integrate job market with the education. That's not happening right now. So industries are one watertight compartment, or the economy is one watertight compartment. Education is another watertight compartment. Very rarely they talk to each other. So that's where there is a mismatch out there. So that's why urgently we should be doing that. So that's very, very important. Thank you. Sir.
Next question. One second.
Hello. My name is Ashok Jaku, and I'm one of the board of directors of Boston Study Group.
Oh, well.
Welcome to Boston.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, I know you have been doing a lot for marginal communities. Please keep up with what you are doing right
Thank you.
now. There's a lot to do more for marginal communities. My question is, it's a political question. My first question is, why BSP? What made you to go to BSP? Why not other political parties? The second part of the question is, people from BSP often come to us before the elections, and they come to us after they did your job, and they never show up. They never call us back. How you would be different kind of BSP politician than the other people? It's a two-part question. Thank you.
I thank you very much, Shakji, for asking this question. I chose BSP over, I preferred BSP over Congress, BJP, and a lot of regional parties because Bahujan Samaj Party built on the idea of constitution, the constitutional values, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. No party in India has constitution as its foundation and moral compass. And then they assiduously, after they got into power, they tried to pursue these constitutional values to the best possible extent, be it land distribution, be it job creation, be it ensuring safety to women on the streets, or be it ensuring the law and order, or be it investing in education to the extent possible. So this is the, and more importantly, the justice, the equality of opportunity. This is the only party which bats for equality for opportunity. You have in India, you have scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, backward classes, then religious minorities, Christian minorities, Muslim minorities. Then you have poor among upper classes, so-called upper classes as well. So Bahujan Samaj Party keeps this in mind in terms of political representation, equality of opportunity, that every community should get their piece of cake. So it cannot be only, the only dominant predators grab everything. So today, I was reading a book written by, Akar Patel on, Indian billionaires, etc., etc. You have 119 billionaires in India, of which there are no scheduled castes. There are no scheduled tribes in that list. You go to judiciary, higher judiciary. You have about, I don't know how many Supreme Court judges, maybe 30 or 40, but very rarely you find the people from these communities. You go to IITs and IIMs. So in IITs and IIMs, 90% of the, only 10% of the professors who are serving in IITs and IIMs, who are supposed to be the premier education institutions of this country, after 75 years of independence also, you have only 5 to 10% of professors who are from these marginalized sections, who form about 30% of Indian, 30 to 35% of Indian, population. Now go to central universities. There are 80 to 90 central universities in this country. So these central universities, for example, OBCs, they form 52% of India, other backward classes. You know how many percentage are there in central universities? Only 9.8%. Where is the population? 52%. Where is their representation? 9.2. You may say in the first decade of independence, okay, now these people are not educated, let us invest in education. Now we have 7.5 decades. That is 75 years of independence. Even today, you have only 9.8% of OBCs in central universities. But Bahujan Samaj Party wants to take this problem head on. So that's why I really liked it. So their idea is social justice, idea is equality of opportunity, idea is liberty of thought and fraternity. So no other party has this. And then their chips are down for a while. So today, so this is a mission, this is a movement. It's not a political party just gets votes and etc., etc. So it's a movement, it's a continuous movement for social justice, and fighting elections is only one part of it. Coming back to your second question. The very reason why I'm here, so answers your second question. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Got it. We are very much connected to you, and we have very high expectations from you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll not disappoint you. Take it from me.
Right, how many questions left? So one more question here.
Yeah, we take a couple of them, then wrap it up. And one from this PhD scholars table. Yeah, you go first. You go, and then.
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry.
Who? I mean, yeah.
Hello, Jai Bhim, Dr. R.S. Praveen.
Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim. So I'm really very inspired, and this is the first time I'm hearing any politician from our community talking in a suit. So I really have a big
Oh.
hopes from you. So I really
That's-
see the future is very bright.
I really like this observation.
And I'm
Thank you very
really-
much. Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to you as a like next or coming CM of Telangana, and in future, obviously, I would really work hard to make you PM of India.
Thank
and like everyone.
Thank you very much.
So
I really appreciate it.
having this vision and having this dream in our head. I have a question or maybe I have some
Please go ahead.
these things for you. So I see your vision now while translating that vision into activities for the community which has never got education or which doesn't know this language for yeah. So our community which doesn't have this kind of understanding of this kind of language or anything, and considering 3.8 million, that is 3 point like around 4 crores of population.
Yes.
50% is uneducated.
Yes.
23% is around, I think so, scheduled caste, and 11% around scheduled tribes.
Yes.
Considering the climate of right now in Indian context, which is being religious and which is being like, I don't want to go into details. You know that better than me. How or what vision or what roadmap we people or like people like you should have to translate our people's understanding and our like people like you vision and people of our people at ground understanding, how to make them together, because BSP has a very good history of being cadre based, going door to door. Unfortunately,
Yes.
unfortunately, I have not observed that for last few days.
Yes.
So what roadmap or what vision you have, like how you're going to do that, how you're going to translate your vision or your manifesto into action plan, and how you're going to get back. At the end of the day, politics is all about getting numbers.
Yes.
So how you're going to calculate and how you're going to get that numbers. I'm really excited to listen and I'm really excited to contribute for getting that numbers for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope your words come true. So, my shortest answer to your question is get back to the ground. So, the day you are off the ground and then you are not going to get that numbers. So, you must be with the people, you must build the structures, you must give a framework to the functioning of the party, and then you must fight for the problems of the people, and then only people will trust you. Otherwise, most of us sometimes what we do is we only talk about theories and then which people don't understand. So, but if you fight for their problems, then you win their hearts and minds, and then talk about the meta process behind the process. Probably they will understand it better. So, and then they'll be connected to you forever. So that's why never leave the ground. Never leave the ground. Always stay, have your eyes and ears and feet on the ground. Then you will be a successful politician. You will definitely, if not in one term, the next term, people will understand this is the guy. This is the guy who has been with us all through the times, whether in summer or winter or the monsoon or whatever season. So this guy has been with us, and then we will go with him. So you don't have to pay money to the voters like all the dominant political parties, which are founded on the idea of exploitation. So be with the people. So that's the only thing that I wanted to say. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hello, sir. My name is Aruna Ramaya. I'm very
Very
excited to meet
Mahesh.
you, and I'm very inspired. Sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead, Aruna. Yeah.
And I'm very inspired and motivated by.
Thank
and I
you.
have two. First question is, my goal is to go back to India and work towards the betterment of society.
Very good.
After
Congratulations.
few years. Thank you so much. So I'm very scared about changing like people's minds and to how to erase their superstitious beliefs, because everyone have their own different perspectives, right? So that is my first question. Any tips upon that?
One of my professors in Kennedy School, he taught me a tip. Since you have asked about tips, so to bring the change, so there are three circles. One is I, us, and now. So I is you as an individual. Us is your immediate vicinity. The now is the I is the we is the community in which you live in. The community is not the caste, but the group of people, group of families. And now is the time. So most important thing what he told was listen, empathize, listen, empathize, solve, respond. Don't sermonize. Don't sermonize. Listen, empathize, respond, help. Probably you will change them forever. So the day you say you have a problem, then I have a solution. Come, open the box. Then I have the spanner. Then I'll fix it. No, that won't work. Listen, empathize. Everybody has his own trajectory or her own trajectory. So everybody has he represents a constituency. That constituency is formed by not just living people but even the ancestors. So so you need to be very very patient, and you need to be empathetic, and you need to be a great listener. So before you solve the problems, and then should you have any issue in praxis, please when you come back to India, so please join us for a while.
For sure,
Then
sir.
both of us can work together. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
That
you.
was very helpful. And
Thank
my
you.
second question.
Yes.
You said that liquor is very harmful to our
Yes, it is.
society. Yeah.
Excessive
So
drinking, yes.
I'm very curious to know about your plans. Like, what are you planning?
We are going to regulate the access.
So
Absolutely.
are
So
you
we are going to make it inaccessible, highly inaccessible.
highly inaccessible?
Yes.
Not completely ban it, right?
No, it has not worked anywhere in the world, including Gujarat.
Thank you so much,
Including,
sir.
you need to
Thank
be, you drink, I have no problem, but you have to be a responsible drinker.
So,
It has not worked in Gujarat, the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi, so it has not worked. We have so many huge deaths.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. RSP. Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim
Jai
to
Bhim.
everybody.
Jai Bhim.
My name is Arif, and I am from Bihar via Cambridge. I'm not an active participant in politics, especially electoral politics, but I'm an observer and a student of politics. And like many other people, I feel that Manevar Kanshi Ramji has been the biggest change maker or political strategist of independent India. Before he founded BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party in 1984, he started off with BAMSEF in 1978, and then of course DS4 in 1981. The one thing which was very, very prominent, and he kept it very prominent by design, that he always centered the Bahujan identity. Like when BAMSEF, there's backward and minorities, DS4 is Dalit Socialist Samaj Sangharsh Samiti, and of course Bahujan is Bahujan. And as a student of politics, when we see the rise and fall of unfortunate fall of BSP, is that BSP got extremely, if I might use the term, Dalitized. Or even in UP, its biggest, with its biggest support base, it became Jatavized. And that's how it was actually, it turned in its own enemy, and that's how it was broken down. Like, of course, the RSS used it to the advantage, and Jatavs or non-Jatavs and stuff like that. And now you are in a new state in Telangana, which BSP, as far as I understand, is a very limited presence.
Till last year.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I mean, we don't have data yet in terms of how much, what's the voting, what percentage of votes you have. Of course, you don't have much seats in the Legislative Assembly or anything. How do you plan to kind of expand this circle of support for BSP and make it a really Bahujan party and not commit the mistakes which were done by leadership, committed by leadership in UP?
Thank you very much. Follow the rule book designed
Another
by...
thing, he is also a John F. Kennedy School alumni like you.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
So the one important thing is to follow the rule book of Kanshiram. So it is still relevant, and it will be relevant till you have differences in this country. So we will further improve upon that. And then second thing is the current 21st century politics is not just about adding the numbers or bringing the communities together. No, but you have to also actively engage with them. So 21st century is about using the technology, and then fighting for the problems, and then fighting for, giving the solutions. And it has to be a continuous process. So if you lose the touch with the ground, that's what I've been saying. So one is bringing that together, and then giving proper representation, as you rightly pointed out. If you restrict only to a few, 2 or 3 dominant sub-communities in a country like India, you won't be succeeding as a politician. You need to build that framework in such a way that that gives room for everyone. Then that is not enough. So having brought them together, you have to give them a program, and then program should always revolve around the problems faced by the people. It cannot, talk about the history repeatedly again and again. No, it's not going to help you. So most of the parties, not just one party, most of the parties, what they do is, particularly the communists, for example. So they have been wiped out from most of the states except for Kerala. So in a place like West Bengal, now you have BJP has 75 seats. I was a police observer for elections in West Bengal, and then I asked, where are communists? So most of the communists are in Bharatiya Janata Party. So where is ideology? So what I'm trying to say, ideology is not enough. Now you need to engage with the people with that ideology and then refine it, that ideology as you go ahead. So if you get dogmatic and then if you only live in the past and bask under the glory of the previous successes, probably it will be very difficult. So we are not making, even we got the instruction from our supreme leaders also to refine the strategies that existed and then go for a version 2.0 and then if necessary 3.0 as well. So we need to be with the people, solve the problems, then again communicate with the help of technology, because as you said, the ruling classes in the form of BJP or any other party, they have grabbed every possible institution. Earlier, that institutions were reasonably democratic and accessible to everybody, but today judiciary is infiltrated, then Union Public Service Commission is infiltrated, media is totally infiltrated. So then what is the way out? So you need to use a lot of smarter ways of reaching out to people and then spread your word. You have to match, and then mass action to the extent possible and mass digital action. So the sky is the limit. So this is what I want to say. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is last 2 questions. So,
Yeah,
okay.
Mahesh, please go.
Hello, sir. This is Mahendra again.
Yeah, Mahesh, please.
Yes, Mahendra, sir.
Mahendra, yeah.
So you have shown and you have proved that education, by educating people, we can create wonders, right? But I'm wondering whether this message is being reached to the common people, particularly illiterate people in the villages, small, who can influence the elections broadly, right? Is it being reaching? What either your team or you are doing to explain them, understand them? They need education is the first thing, and then they can change their life. Their lifestyle can be changed. The quality of their life can be changed. What are you doing on this front?
Very good question.
And how
Very
can
good
we
question.
help you,
Yeah.
if there is any?
Very good question. It has reached. In fact, I had my own doubts because I was never into political space. So I'm just 1 year old in politics, and then you'll be surprised. All the beneficiaries of my work in all the educational institutions, they are the people who took me to their homes, and then they introduced me to their parents, and much before my entry into politics, and then they have really talked about the value of education, and then parents have realized that earlier only rich people in the village used to speak in English. Only rich people used to go to urban areas. Only rich people used to go to universities. But today, the students from the poorest of the poor communities, whose houses are made up of old saris, are studying in great universities like Ashoka University, Delhi University, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Some of them have visited even Harvard for summer programs. And then their parents are agricultural laborers. And then these people have become celebrities in their communities, celebrities in those villages, in the neighborhoods. So, and then these people have become our brand ambassadors, and then people have realized the value of education to a greater extent. So, I think the real test, whether these people are going to vote for me or not, vote for the party or not, I think it will be known only when we fight elections in a big way. So I think the elections which are upcoming now, that is going to be a litmus test whether investment in education works or not. It has worked in in the, in Arvind Kejriwal's context, whether the same thing works in Telangana context, because in Telangana context is different. The North Indian elections are different from South Indian elections, North Indian elections, South Indian elections. Every vote fetches you 10,000 rupees minimum, and one case of beers, and maybe one or two saris and whatnot. These people, the ruling classes have made people to get addicted for all these freebies much before election. So, but here, on the other hand, we are not going to supply liquor, we are not going to supply money, we are not going to buy the votes, and then we are going to tell that, look, we are here to give you equal opportunity, we are here to give you the best possible education, and we are here to make your children employable. So this is a matter between the money and then dreams. Let's see what happens. Thanks. Yeah, last question. So, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My name is Madhu Purushottam.
Madhu Purushottam,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I'm a scientist
Oh,
working in
fantastic.
pharma. I'm a good friend of Venkat Maroj, and I've been, actively involved and following your activities
Thank
and
you, sir.
your ideology. I liked one thing from your speech and your, your activities, this corruption free, right? So the thing is, like, when we watch your speech, it looks like you are a single man army, right? You need, end of the day, you need at least 120 MLA, contestant, right? At least
120
117,
seats.
117, right? 119, sorry. Yeah. But you need 60 out of those.
Yeah, that's right. We have
Honest.
119, we need
Yeah,
60. Yes.
60, but honest, right? Because of, recently you've been seeing BJP, Congress
Yes.
giving money,
Yes.
EDs, right?
About, yes.
So even if you get 60, you need to maintain those 60.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yes.
honest. And so what is your game plan? And in case if you get 20 or 30 seats, so what is your plan going to be?
These are the strategy issues which I may not be able to answer. But one thing is, we are not going to give tickets to turncoat politicians who switch the sides overnight, because even if they win, they'll go back to, they'll put themselves up for sale. So after they win, like that's what happened in earlier elections. Like, in Telangana itself, we had two people, one with the Bahujan Samaj Party's ticket, and the day they got elected, then immediately they sold themselves off. Then same thing happened in many states, and in Maharashtra is much more scary. Like you have Shiv Sena got divided into old Shiv Sena and the new Shiv Sena, and then a lot of crores of money got pumped into the system. So it's a real challenge. And second question is, if you get only 20 to 30, what would you do? It's all the more better. So then your bargaining power will improve, and then you can bargain better for people. So, but again, if you give to turncoat politicians and then win the elections, then they are not going to stay with you, most probably. So that's why we want to focus on the real committed people, party workers who have been with the people, who have been fighting for the people, no matter whether they are rich or poor. So that they will be loyal to the people and loyal to the party. And that's the reason why we are requesting people in general to, donate whatever little fund they can to the people, to the party, so that we can run the elections on a very transparent manner. So it's a challenge, sir. It's not going to be easy. So because ruling classes have so much of money with them, ill-gotten money, and then they can buy anybody. So sometimes I was told by someone that even the chief minister of one state decides who should be fielded against their ruling party candidates. So he not only decides his own candidate, but he also decides who should be fielded against his candidate. So that is the depth with which the ruling classes operate in India. So yeah. I think, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just before we
thank you very much, everybody. You have been a very, very well-informed and very intelligent and very patient audience. And thank you very much for your patience, sir.